What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with an all-star edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I missed you over the weekend. I was in Vegas at UFC 290, even hanging out with producer Jacob a little bit. Hanging out there in the streets. Good times were had by all. But it is the All-Star Game, which maybe some of you are like, why is he doing a video for this? And some people on Twitter will say, oh, you should really minimize your usage. You shouldn't pay attention to this. This has been a routine smash for me almost every single season. And so I wanted to give you a couple of the secrets, a couple of the things that have helped make this one of the most profitable All-Star games out of all of the All-Star games, and one of the more profitable individual games year in, year out that I have on my betting card. We'll talk about the ins and outs of why. I'm going to give you a lean, a like, and a lock. I'm waiting on a lot of props. They're going to be fired up tomorrow. If you want to get access to them, the easiest way to do that is signing up at BetMGM, getting yourself 2 months of Odd Shopper Discord access completely free just by trying out the product. Yes, you just try out BetMGM, sign up, put anything you want over at that site by signing up at the link below. Get 2 months of my betting card, as well as Ben Raza, one of the sharpest guys in the industry, Eitan Shander. You got all of these great guys in the Odd Shopper Discord channel that you love from our YouTube channel. So maybe check it out for 2 months. Good stuff. Only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But I got a lot to talk about on this one game slate. It's going to be a quick one, but it's going to be informative. Hopefully, I can teach you some of the secrets that make this a phenomenal spot to be betting during this break, and then I'll be back on Friday with my regular Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. So, without further ado, let's get to the picks. We begin, my friends, with the odds. We're playing at T-Mobile Park here. The Home Run Derby is about to start here in a second, but before we get there, let's just kind of set the table here. We got the National League. They're small dogs here to the American League that has won 9 straight. Yes, you heard me. 9 straight All-Star games they didn't play in 2020. Yes, there is turnover with teams. There's a lot of different things that we'll be paying attention to that we'll cover, especially when we get to the lock. But you got National League as a little bit of a dog here. And the big thing, the total keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. This has now been a game that has gone under this number 3 straight. It is routinely more difficult to be hitting home runs because the best stuff out of pitchers in baseball is going to win out over the best hitters in baseball most of the time. And while a lot of these guys who have a lot of power, who create a lot of opportunities for their teams, they take advantage of poor pitching. There is none of that to be found unless Josiah Gray is going to show up and eat an inning for the National League. Comparably to the other players on his team, it could be an interesting thing. But let's talk props here, because this is the thing I really want to focus on, and I'm going to be focused on the most on Twitter tomorrow with Lindy's Locks Update and in the premium Discord. So be on the lookout for that. It's at my Twitter, at Eric Lindquist. Let's get ourselves to the lean. Props. It is all about positional scarcity. What do I mean by that? It means look at the rosters, see how they're constructed, and there are certain clues that can key you in to who could possibly see more at-bats than anybody else in a game. And the guy that I've circled, highlighted, and starred for this game is Ozzie Albies. Now, in years past, this is generally going to be a catcher position, because there are routine times when only 2 catchers have been in the All-Star game. Somebody either is hurt, sits out, maybe somebody's dinged out, and multiple times. Mike Zunino being the case in Coors Field. He goes yard, ended up binking a couple of tournaments for DFS, ended up hitting all of the home run props we had on Mike Zunino, coming off of the bench to be an absolute hero. Now, rip Mike Zunino, he's been out for a while, but let's go through this National League roster, because I think there are a couple of things that really stand out to me. Number one, you get the starting spot. Yes, the starting spot going to be Luis Arraez. Awesome. I am more interested in some of the backups and some of those available numbers because, well, they're not starting. They're not guaranteed an at-bat. But if you go down the National League roster, there is no other true second base player besides starter Luis Arraez. So assuming Ozzie Albies, who only has played second base this season for the Braves, comes in to replace him, you're going to get multiple innings out of him. I doubt Luis Arraez and the Miami Marlins want him playing 3 at-bats in this game, don't you? That creates an upside for 3 at-bats for Albies coming off of the bench. And that is why I'm also looking at him as a potential home run candidate, because no matter what, There's only one lefty coming in for the AL at some point, Framber Valdez. He's a switch hitter. He'll be hitting from his left side. So going through some of his advanced metrics against right-handed pitching, he's got a 125 WRC plus over the course of his career. Now, 2023, he's had 94 WRC plus in that regard, but it's not his strong side per se, but he does have a 234 ISO against right-handed pitching here. So the power is there. I'm telling you, this could be a large number. It could also be a number that is not necessarily available. We might have to scour the internet. We might have to go to all your Black Gen Z books. We got to go to, we're not going to list those because, again, we want to be betting it at BetMGM. We want to be betting this at DraftKings, FanDuel, all the other great places. I want to be finding Albies props. I think this is a great setup. Also, lefty power plays up a little bit here. Yeah, very, very minorly. But over the course of the last 3-year sample size at Baseball Savant, you can see lefty power playing up, slight uptick over righty power. I'm sure they're going to talk about that on the All-Star during the Home Run Derby broadcast. So hopefully that helped you a little bit here. I'm paying attention to catchers that aren't starting. I'm paying attention to a lot of players that aren't starting, but specifically ones where there's positional scarcity. There's a couple other examples, but this is the one that stands out most. I'm leaning Albies to be the hero in the home run department, potential of 3 at-bats. We'll see if that ends up being valued by the books. Now we jump over to the like section of this because as much as I want to be betting a lot of hitting props, I don't think this is the spot that we should necessarily be looking at doing it. Maybe we can parlay some unders and have some real fun in the single game parlay streets. But I definitely like the under of 7.5 runs again. Alluded to it before. I don't think looking at things in previous seasons, seeing AL win 9 in a row, seeing the NL, just struggling to put up runs. I don't think any of that is necessarily indicative of what we're looking at. But T-Mobile Park is the hardest run creation ballpark in all of baseball. We are now seeing starting pitchers come in there and just flamethrow for an inning, and they just mow down these dudes. And it has really there's no resistance for strikeouts when you start letting these guys go up to 97, 98, 99 on the gun, just flamethrow for an inning and get the heck up out of there. It's a beautiful thing. For starting pitchers alike, it is going to be sensational pitching to watch here. I think 7.5. There's a reason it's juiced a little bit beyond minus 110. Maybe the public can push this one up for us here, but I have a small play on this one, not going crazy with it. But it is on the card under 7.5 runs. I think we see a great opportunity for these closers to run amok. And plus, righty pitching or right-handed hitting going to be very neutralized in this ballpark considering the dearth of options in terms of right-handed pitching on both sides. In fact, only by my counts, one lefty for both of these teams. Josh Hader in the NL, and in the AL, you're looking at Framber Valdez. So be paying attention to these things as well when I'm going to be looking at the hitter props and when I'm projecting out these lineups come tomorrow based on where I think some of these other pitchers might be. If there's any news of guys sitting out, I think that we are definitely going to be using very righty-heavy splits, righty versus righty, throughout the entire time. Lefties, maybe they can make a mark, but looks to me as though the under of 7.5 is a great play. Now, before we get to the lock, let's talk BetMGM. Yes, BetMGM, they're the lovely sponsor here of this program. And look at my face. I'm so excited about this All-Star game. I'm excited to bring this to you because, again, 2 free months of OS Premium Discord when you sign up at the link below. Yes, it's got the promo code there. It should automatically update, but you got to click on that link below. You're going to get up to $1,000 back on your first bet as well. Yes, you're getting bonus bets back into your account if your first wager you make when you sign up at BetMGM for the first time at that link below. If it ends up losing. If it wins, keep the money, pass go, collect $200, $300, whatever, $400, whatever it ends up being. Monopoly money, it's beautiful stuff. But otherwise, you're getting that bonus bets back. It's awesome. This is the best deal that we've ran with any book here whatsoever. You want to be checking it out because, again, you want to get all of the picks. You want to know exactly what props I end up putting on my card for tomorrow. You sign up here down below at BetMGM, only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, you want a lock? You want an absolute lock? Well, this isn't one that I'm going to be playing more than a unit on, but it is something I like a little bit more than the under of 7.5 based on that juice being a little bit outside of that minus 110 number, minus 120 over on DK. But I'm getting even money on a roster that I look at from the NL. I think it's better. I think they have better pitching. Now, the closing combination that you have from the American League, it's disturbing. It's basically the Baltimore Orioles. There you go. Bautista. They're very good. But I love the opportunity that the NL has to close out the game with a lefty or a righty. We're talking Josh Hader or any of the million righties that they have in that pen. I think it creates another nuanced, interesting scenario where they can play the matchup game. Once these rosters, we're talking the NL, the AL, once they turn over and you get to that ninth inning, you have an opportunity to know exactly who's going to hit. There's probably not going to be a lot of pinch hitting opportunities left in because the starters are the best players. They're going first. And the roster by default has to get a little bit worse as the game goes on. Does that make sense? Cool. Glad you're staying with me. Not saying that these aren't the elite players in baseball, because they still are, but Ohtani won't be left in that lineup. You aren't going to have any of the Ronald Acuñas, nobody like this. So once you get down to the bare bones of these rosters, I love the fact that we can go lefty or righty in the NL. If the AL uses up Framber Valdez early, which I would expect they would, he's a starting pitcher, maybe not have him necessarily close. Maybe they keep an ace in up their sleeve here for it as well. I think it's a comfortable situation to be able to have that opportunity if you're the NL. And in a spot where I'm getting even money to back the better roster as it is, as I go through a Troutless, a Judgeless American League roster. So two big omissions, just saying. I think the NL at even money become a great wager. Now, don't go nuts with this one. I want to try to go nuts with some props here later tomorrow. That's for sure. That's always been the calling card of this game for me. But in terms of outright plays, the NL money line gets it done for us here. Lock it in. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks All-Star Game Edition. Well, I guess the very first of that edition. Hit that like button on the way out. Leave me a comment below. Let me know your favorite prop, your favorite play from this All-Star Game going on up in Seattle at T-Mobile Park. Be on the lookout for Lindy's Locks update. That'll be on my Twitter at Eric Lindquist. Going to try to bring you the goods. Hopefully we can find that one or two hits, the one or two homers that we're really looking for on the betting card for tomorrow. Going to be a fun one to watch, that's for sure. But I'll be back as normal on Friday before I turn it over to Aton for the weekend. Going to be a couple of days off here. Might go hit a golf ball, might go live my life. Check out some of the other great content that we have going on here at OddsShopper and the OddsShopper Golf Channel. Yes, 2 PGA events going on. The Barbasol Classic over here in the States, and the big one, the Genesis Scottish Open, getting ready for that Open Championship, which will be the week after. So all the big guns over there on the other side of the pond. Going to be a fun one to track there. Until next time, though, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB All-Star Game streets tomorrow.